Man, it's really felt like forever since I've done this. What's going on with you guys? TheCaliEffect, king of games here. And I actually want to hold the presses just a little bit. There's something I want to say. These last few weeks have not been too strong for me. They've actually felt quite the opposite. Just recently, I had a bit of a cancer scare. I thought that I had testicular cancer. I mean, you kind of know when you got a lump on your balls, the size of your balls. I want to strongly urge everyone with balls to make sure you get those checked out. Testicular cancer is no joke. Seriously, guys, if you feel that you have some type of problem with your testicles, then you should really go get them checked out. Ball is life, and if the cost of being able to stay alive is that awkward moment where someone of the same sex touches your balls, unless that's what you're into, then you should really go and get checked if you feel some problems down there. I've also been dealing with a ton of stress from YouTube and just other outside outlets, but more importantly, I felt that personally, I wasn't really keeping it 100 with y'all like I normally do. Sometimes you say you're fine, and you're not really fine. You should probably get that checked too. So no matter what it is, or no matter how you currently feel, having someone to talk to is probably the strongest thing you can do. I want you guys to be able to fulfill your dreams and untap your strong potential, but I'm getting too teary-eyed here. Let's get into the video. In this particular video, since the forbidden list isn't here, is it here yet? Let me refresh again. Might be here if I refresh again. Okay, it's not here. Let's refresh again. All right, it's still not here. We are going to be talking about the top Yu-Gi-Oh decks that will not be hit on this forbidden list. I personally feel that these decks are sneaky and will completely avoid the forbidden list, possibly even being a better tier than they were before, if applicable. So of course, if you want to see more videos like this, then be sure to destroy that subscribe button, but also post down below in the comment section what are some decks that you think won't be getting hit by the forbidden list that are not on this list. Without further ado, let's jump on in. The first strategy has no need for an introduction. It is one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not Solomon Great. Allegedly, I've been talking about Solomon Great for too long, though I do think it is a deck that should be on this list. Shaddolls are not only one of the most powerful decks in Yu-Gi-Oh!, they're also a deck that seems to be able to evade the forbidden list every time. Kind of like how Burning Abyss dodges forbidden list. I still want Dante banned, just because I wanted to feel the same pain as Construct, but I don't want Dante banned. I like Dante. Shaddolls have been ultra competitive inside of this Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta because of El Shaddoll Winda. It prevents players from special summoning multiple times, but who needs to special summon multiple times if you've already special summoned multiple times? The best thing about Shaddolls is that it is extremely versatile. Being able to play it in Dogmatica, Invoked, a pure variant Outlich, you can pretty much splash Shaddoll in just about any given deck. Now this would probably prompt Konami to hit the Shaddoll strategy, but there's just one simple problem. Shaddolls are actually really balanced, and you could probably hit the strategies that are unbalanced. That and Shaddoll has guaranteed future support as a legacy archetype. We tend not to see these legacy archetypes ever hit because they're very well balanced and, I mean, they are too strong. Another strategy that we know won't be hit might have your opponent dying on this type of diet, because you'll understand, you'll see the pun, because it's diet, but you'll see the pun. Paleo is actually one of the better decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Not played, and it actually baffles me. You see what I did? Because Paleo's a diet, you see what I did. Paleo monsters like Paleozoic Dynamiscus allows you to banish a face-up card on your opponent's side of the field, and then you even have cards that allow you to Book of Wound your opponent's monsters or destroy their spell and trap cards. To be honest with you, Paleo is just legit. The trap cards do a lot of the dirty work. And unlike any other trap deck for the exception of Outlich, the Paleozoic trap cards are also monsters. Anytime a trap card is activated, you can special summon a Paleo to your side of the field. One thing that Outlich doesn't have over Paleozoic is that these trap monsters can make an insane boss monster and Totally Awesome. Totally Awesome is a 2200 attack monster that not only allows you to negate the activation of your opponent's card effects, it can also set that card to your side of the field, as well as recur a water monster in your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, so take that, Outlich players. It looks like you'll be liching your last Yu-Gi-Oh! Format, because there's a possibility you might get hit. Paleozoic were one of the better decks in its time, and in 2021, it's still a really strong strategy that can actually be viable inside of the next meta. Now, getting my head out of the clouds and moving toward a more recent deck, this strategy actually has all of the odds against it, but I think it can orchestrate a lot of victories depending on the player. The Orchid strategy is really shaping up to be one of the more competitive dark decks inside of Yu-Gi-Oh! That players just aren't paying enough attention to. While Orchid's biggest weakness is cards like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring and Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, two of some of the most powerful trap cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, as well as Artifact Lancia, this deck actually can keep trucking no matter what. Orchids have very simplistic combos that require as little as one card in your hand. Just one copy of Mech Girsu can net you a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, as well as your full Orchis combo, which is Din Girsu in the graveyard to be able to spring on your opponent's turn. That also means that the remaining 4 cards in your hand can be disruptions or cards that help you play through your opponent's disruption so you can continue to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Orchis is honestly a deadlier Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck inside of a slower format, and even though all of those hand traps are prevalent, being able to activate Nibiru and then chain an Orchis monster so they don't get the token is still... Orchis is not only a strategy that I am 1000% sure won't be hit on the Forbidden List, it can actually stand to benefit for some cards coming off the Forbidden List to make it stronger. You can say that players are playing their last symphony if you're playing against a really skilled Orchis player into the next format. Also, speaking of dark decks, a deck that is extremely good and is starting to top everywhere is Phantom Knight. Now, whether you decide to play Phantom Knight as a pure build or mix it with Burning Abyss cards, the outcome is pretty much the same. You're summoning Rusty Bardish to your side of the field almost no matter what, and what Rusty Bardish does is allow you to add Phantom Knight's Fog Blades from your deck to your hand. Those are an excellent source of disruption. You also can summon some really exciting monsters like Red Eyes Dark Dragoon fairly easily, as well as Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, so being able to provide disruptions on your opening turn is really easy. Now, it did take a little bit longer for the Phantom Knight strategy to mature into what it is, but it's actually a really powerful deck with a ton of synergy with dark decks. You can mix it with Orchis, you can play it pure, or you can play it with Burning Abyss. Phantom Knights are a perfect deck for players that are looking to play hyper competitive right now, and also try to avoid the Forbidden List as much as possible. If anything, this strategy is also a deck that can gain from the Forbidden List by having cards come off. And the last strategy I want to talk to you guys about feels kind of like Dragon Link. The way that you can just mix all of the machines inside of one cohesive strategy, I think it's really cool. The Earth Machine strategy is a deck that has been rising in popularity since the tail end of this format. Now, the Earth Machine strategy is a perfect blend of all of the great Earth machines like Infinite Track, Ancient Gear, Trains, and Machina. Sorry, gadgets. That's just how it has to roll right now. Now, the Earth Machine strategy can summon some really powerful monsters like Super Juggernaut, Super Dreadnought, Juggernaut, it's a very long name. Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Juggernaut Labe, which is a card that can one-shot your opponent when you mix it with Super Dreadnought, Gustav Max. Seriously, who made these cards and why are they so long? And I love how the deck can still control the tempo without using the extra deck through monsters like Machina Fortress and Machina Citadel, which allows you to destroy cards in your opponent's hand or even discard cards from your opponent's hand by having it being targeted. Earth Machine is only getting more popular by the day and is a strategy that you should look into if you feel that Dragon Links might get hit and you don't want to lose the sauce of being able to just throw things together and make it competitive. Well, that is all that I have for decks that will not be hit on the next Forbidden List. Again, I want you to post down below in the comment section, what are some decks that you think will not be hit? What are some decks that you might think will be hit? Also, be sure to check out these videos, and I'll catch you on the next one.